Y'all. My is here with this week
Dan,
facetiously
restart.
familiar. What?
Restart. It didn't start recording until halfway through your intro.
The it starts recording as soon as I hit the button. It doesn't show that it is recording until a few
Okay,
seconds.
that is
Okay.
totally brothers. So there is no intro because they wanted to fight instead.
Hello, y'all. My
Bicker!
is here with this week's Facetiously Familial, where everyone's a philosopher and nobody does research. Joining me today are my two usual co-hosts, my mom and brother.
Hi.
And a cat. Hi,
Cat
Joy.
cats. Always. You gotta have that.
I'm kind of surprised that this is the first time Joy showed up on camera.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
You are right. It is.
Usually she's much needier than this.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Meow. Meow.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. At 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm
To be
hungry
fair,
for
Mom.
It's like you could just go somewhere else.
You are usually up by 5.
Okay, you're not wrong.
So it's the odd days when you just wanted to sleep in, and Joy's like, but schedule. What are you doing?
Are you
Right.
human?
My time.
Humans aren't meant to be up that early.
Yes, they were.
Oh my god. So, speaking of being up way too early, my first day in Beijing. So, like, I didn't get a full nights of sleep until my second night in Beijing.
Yeah.
Because Jillian said, "Oh, we should go to the flag raising in Tiananmen Square. It's, something really cool." All right, cool. And then she said, "I'll meet you at your place at like 5 in the morning." And this was midnight when she said it, and we're still not at my hotel. I was like, oh, God.
Nice.
And you know what the best part about it was?
Nope.
I was up and ready. She wasn't there, though.
No!
Her taxi got caught in traffic, so we missed the flag raising.
Nice.
That's funny.
And so, like, we tried to enter Tiananmen Square, and apparently, like, they were clearing it out. Because this was there was a major political event going on. Like, all the leaders were voting on stuff, so, like, they were worried about protesters, specifically Tibetan protesters. So every cop had both a gun and a fire extinguisher. So the Tibetans have a tendency to light themselves on fire and run at the guards. So we're walking into
and run at the guards?
Oh, yeah.
I never heard that part.
That's a new addition for me.
So I'm walking into Tiananmen Square with Chilin, and I see a Chinese guard start running at us, going like, "Hey!" I'm like, oh shit! It's my first day in China, and I'm already getting yelled at. I didn't mean to do anything, and they're just like, "No, you can't be here. We're closing down the square. We're closing down the square for the week after the after the fire raisings." It's like, okay, fair enough. It's politically sensitive.
But you went to Tiananmen Square, which is cool.
I went about 20 feet into it.
That is further in than either of the other two person you're talking to. So
fair.
I doubt that I have been more than 1,000 or rather closer than 1,000 miles from Tiananmen Square. I'm trying to think of how far away San Diego is from China.
God.
And I have no idea how large the Pacific Sea is. Pacific Ocean. Gosh. Don't worry about it. You know I'm an idiot. But you.
I can't argue.
So, does anyone have a topic that they want to discuss this week?
So I just rediscovered one of my new favorite things.
Okay, what's up?
So, have you guys seen the new Pokemon Sword and Shield?
Yes. 1d8 slashing and +2 AC. Yes.
Yes. So, there's new mainline Pokemon games coming out, and they're actually for the console this time. It's the first time ever, I think. They're for the Switch.
I kind of feel like Pokemon Coliseum should count because
Those are
Celebi
mainline.
was only available through Pokemon Coliseum, and you had to
No.
transfer it over. Really?
No. It was Jirachi.
Jirachi. Okay.
Yeah, because remember we had the little Game Boy Advance
Yes,
connectors
and I
where we had to connect our
remembered
Game
it
Boy
being
Advance to the
Celebi that
GameCube.
we transferred over, not Jirachi. I guess I was wrong, but
Uh,
again, idiot. So there's
I
that.
no, it was the thing with like the three like wish things.
Yes. Oh, I thought that was Celebi.
No,
I
Celebi
forgot
was
that
a weird.
Jirachi existed.
No, Celebi was gold and silver. You know that like green thing.
No.
Oh
I
my
do
god.
know what Celebi is, but I don't remember it being in Gold and Silver. I remember it being in Pokemon Coliseum.
No, it was in gold and silver. You got like a flute, and you had to go to some weird shrine thing. But yes, no, Jirachi was Pokemon Coliseum. That one.
Gotcha.
That took up an entire GameCube memory card.
SD card.
That's why we never got far in it.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to delete every save to play this one game?
No.
But anyway, back to Sword and Shield. Back to Sword and Shield. The new girl in Sword and Shield, everyone is treating her as if she is like the most sassy Scottish girl ever.
It's fantastic. The Scotsman Pokemon memes are wonderful.
It's like I just saw one where it was her standing across the battlefield from a Pikachu, and she throws a Molotov cocktail at him.
I guess we're going for the IRA, not the Scotsman.
IRA's replacing Team Rocket. Stay away from trash cans.
This is very topical. This is the right weekend to record this one.
But it won't be the right week to release it.
And people are saying like the final gym leader will be the Queen of England.
I'm
She'll
okay
have
with
two
that.
level 100 corgis.
Oh, that's excellent. They're tiny, but they pack a mighty bite.
Mhm. So it's just best thing I've seen.
Yes, I've been trying to find the 1d8 slashing plus 2 AC so that I can post that on the screen. It will be up there once this recording comes out, but I
So
want
you
Mom's
remember to
reaction
edit
to it. Yes, I've actually figured out how to like put pictures and shit into it. I know, right? If you guys had actually watched the recordings that I spend an hour listening to and like
Actually, hold on. I would
5
like to
minutes
claim
editing.
that I am the first person to give you a view on the new channel.
False.
Wait a
I
minute,
am the
there's a
first
new
person to
channel?
give me a view on the new channel.
All I know is that I went on to that video, and when I clicked away from it, it had one view. I'm calling
wait a
dibs.
What's the name of the channel?
Facetiously Familial.
We are
Okay.
such good communicators about our content.
You guys haven't done anything with the channel, so I just said,
Nope.
they'll ask me about it eventually. If they want to do Let's Plays or something.
I'm so sorry.
The easiest way to...
Look at that.
I know, right?
Great.
I still need to upload the other podcasts to it. I just haven't taken the time. I've been out in the boot doing stuffs.
Well, yeah. I got a new a long-term substitute teaching for math job.
Nice.
So, yeah. So I've been making all these materials manipulatives for math.
So how do you do sloped intercept again?
Okay, what is great was what was so interesting to me was when I told John about getting this job, the big thing was he was like, okay, I hated math as a kid because they never told me, what the purpose of it was. And what was so interesting is I was watching some TED Talks. Every single math educator said you need to start with a question and you need to start with reality. You need to end. Where's the use of it? And it was so funny because slope intercept I never really thought about it, but it is draining the side yard. You need 1 inch of drop for like, I think it's every 6 feet or whatever, and the camber of a roof, and all of these things, they're all slope intercept. And it was like,
if you're spending $50 a week, at what week will you be broke?
oh my God, that's better. Okay. Oh, I'm so glad you said that.
Your parents gave you $300 for Christmas and no presents. You decide to spend $50 a week. How long until you run out of Christmas money?
Oh my goodness.
Remember, it has to intersect zero at some point.
Yeah.
Okay, what are we spending $50 a week on though? This is better if like it's the Pokemon game or whatever.
It's probably going to be Starbucks.
Hearthstone cards.
Yeah, I could see Hearthstone cards.
Or what did you say, Daniel?
No, it would be Fortnite chests.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, they have chests now?
Yeah, Fortnite has basic...
For 7th graders?
It's
yes.
A full loop. Oh, God, yes.
Yes.
Fortnite loot boxes.
Rare put out a game. Mom, you probably need to know this, going into 7th grade math class.
Expect dumb dances.
Yes. So there was a game put out by, I believe it was Rare Entertainment.
Isn't it Epic?
It's either Epic or Rare, one of those two.
Or did Epic produce it and Rare make it? Or I don't know.
Suffice it to say, video game by the name of Fortnite. It is a massive online multiplayer game where 100 individuals enter into one arena, battle it out until one person is left standing. So there are 99 losers and one winner every single game. And
what's your percentage chance of winning? Well, it's greater if I buy more $50 a week chests.
No, substantially not, because everything is a cosmetic. And so you are
buying like skins.
Mm-hmm.
No, you are not buying skins, you are buying the chance at a skin.
Oh,
no.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why I'm okay with League of Legends is that you know exactly what you are purchasing and for how much you are purchasing it for.
And didn't they also add in loot boxes?
They did, but they kept the old monetization model. They just added a couple of things that were exclusive to chests, but that was only once Tencent acquired League of Legends. So it was only once it was a Chinese company.
I was horrified. Because you're like, okay, so you're upstairs, in your bedroom, and I can't remember which one of you guys it was, but I come in and there's the screen, and then and you've got it, one of the guys, and then you showed me all of the skins that you could put on this, and people paid money.
Yes.
I was horrified because you bought the game.
We didn't buy the game.
No,
though.
It's a free game.
It is free to play. It is free to download.
So it's like Pokemon, where you can buy the little coiny things to do whatever.
It is exactly like Pokemon Go, except for Pokemon Go, you are purchasing a specific product. Within Fortnite, you are purchasing the chance at many different products.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so it is distressingly reasonable for a 7th grader to put $50 a week into Fortnite chests.
Fortnite's made a lot of money.
It has made several $1 billion over the past couple of years.
Seriously?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Holy crap. I mean, I'd heard of it, but I never knew what it was.
It's a free-to-play game that has made just so much money. An excessive amount, to the point that whoever made it, be it Rare or Epic...
It's Epic.
Epic no longer has to put out games.
Wow.
Do you know how I know that?
Okay.
How I've really cemented that in my mind. So they've taken that Fortnite money and they've tried to come up with a competitor for Steam.
Oh yeah.
However, the problem is that Epic Games is putting all their Fortnite money into Epic Games Launcher. The problem that they're running into is they want everything to be on the Epic Games Launcher, and only so they want it to be exclusive.
The Apple model.
Yep. Yeah. And so it's not going out too well for them. So Microsoft just released they announced the Master Chief Collection. And they're
And
just
it's
like,
on
yeah,
Steam.
we're gonna put this on Steam.
Oh, that's funny. Oh my god.
That
That's
is
so
one
funny.
of those products that if it was on the Epic Games launcher, it would make quite a bit of dosh, and it would really cement their place in the market. But not so much.
So it is they've got Fortnite.
Yeah.
Fortnite. Oh yeah, and there's that one like, isn't it the like survival zombie apocalypse thing with llamas?
I'm willing to believe you, but I have no idea what you're
Yeah,
talking
no,
about.
no, it was the game before Fortnite came out. They had a basic.
Oh yeah, they had that's what Fortnite was going to be originally. And I apparently just took a screenshot,
Yeah,
so congratulations.
yeah. So there's originally a paid version of the game, and it would cost like $30, and no one played it. Then
Yeah.
Fortnite came out, and still no one played it. PUBG came out, exploded, and then died because it was created by a bunch of amateurs. And they're just like, we never expected to get this. What did we do? We have 10 million players.
That was, I was watching, Queer Eye
Yeah.
yesterday, and one of the people that they were working on was this pair of sisters who were barbecue specialists in Kansas City, and they made this great barbecue sauce. And for a while, they were selling the barbecue sauce, but they could not make enough of it to keep up with the orders, so they just stopped making it.
Oh.
And
Also,
yeah.
I just posted the Sword and Shield 1d8 slashing plus 2 AC.
I don't know how to see these. There we go. Oh, that's that's great.
And I have one more that I found as I was searching for it that is glorious. And there's some backstory to this image that is unnecessary to enjoy it, but just kind of makes me happy.
You know, I want to take these images and do before JoJo and after JoJo.
So the second
And
image that I put up was the evolutionary lines for the new starters, going from fire, water, grass to grass fighting, fire fighting, water fighting to fighting, 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 fighting. And for Mom, the evolutionary lines have been they were stagnant. They got changed up a little bit with Sun and Moon, but for a long time, the fire starters just turned into firefightings. And
that's
so
funny.
it has been a joke within the community that everything is going to turn into fighting types. And then come Gen 5,
Fighting.
everything did turn into fighting types. There were just so many exceedingly
eat Molotov cocktail.
Oh, fantastic.
So
Oh,
I
that
just threw
is
a picture of what's her name throwing a Molotov cocktail at Pikachu.
excellent. Oh my goodness.
They
Oh,
are
that
just,
is funny.
and there's more where that came from. I looked up the subreddit for it today and found it and just went through the whole thing.
Oh,
So,
yeah, there's.
It was great.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you guys
Find
you
this
both
shit?
knew about these things? Yeah.
So the new Pokemon game was the biggest news for like a week or two because it's the first Pokemon game on like a console, not a handheld console.
But what
So
As to where I found it,
Reddit,
it was
front
told
page.
to me. My Facebook chat with the high school guys, they have been big into Pokemon and are still big into Pokemon. I am probably the least into Pokemon out of the guys, and they just day it was released came out in a frenzy.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Or rather
Okay.
revealed, because it's not yet out.
Right. Okay.
That being said, you would likely find it on /r/gaming. So
Or
the
I think there's
subreddit
one
for
Two Best Friends Play. They've been going ham on this topic. I think they were the ones who started the girl is a Scottish.
Mhm.
That is so funny. It's just interesting because I mean we know totally different things. I learned all these things just from you.
Yeah. You don't
I spent
have
the
the
last
same kind of friends that we have. If you
right.
started hanging out like James, like I've been telling you to, then you would hear these things.
I need
Jeez,
better
Mom, why aren't
friends.
you like James?
Oh,
Get your
he's
shit
amazing.
together.
I love him. Well, what's funny is I found out where all the people I've met for the last 24 years hang out, and it is all at the YMCA. Everybody's there.
Yeah, that
Everybody,
sounds about
it's the
right.
weirdest thing. I went there this morning they had this rotating class, and so I went to take the rotating class, and then and then I just kept seeing people in the hallway. I couldn't leave. I was there for hours. It was so funny. I was just like, okay. I gotta eat before we do this call. So,
Bye.
Listen,
oh,
guys, if you want to hang out, just bring me food, and I'll hang out as long as you want. But I need food.
no. See, the worst part is then I go, oh no, but it has to be vegan food. Yeah, I was
Don't
reading.
eat no meat.
You,
Oh,
All right, I made
it's
John,
that.
okay.
did
Yes.
you see the email that I sent you about Randy? He's essentially a Jeff Dunham stand-up comedian type
Oh
guy.
yeah,
So
yeah,
he's a puppet.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes. No, no, Dan. I forced Mom and Nick to watch the part
Literally,
of the
like you showed me.
yeah no part of his
Nice.
stand-up where he does the buying a bookshelf off Gumtree.
It's
Well,
fantastic. But
it.
before that point, Mom, you'll appreciate this. He's vegan. And
I
he's vegan.
love him.
The issue is that he's vegan for the moral reasons. If only it was some kind of gastrointestinal problem that required him to be vegan.
Did you just say gastrointestinal
I
problem?
said gastro. I kind of fumbled the word a little bit, but it came out eventually.
Sure about that?
No. The
That's the
one thing
greatest
that
thing
I
you can do is when someone does something and they're not like 100% confident, you can just walk up to them and say, "Are you sure you meant to do that?" Okay. And they'll question it for the rest of the day. It could
Oh,
work perfectly. And they'll just
you're
be like,
so right. Oh, it's the
"Are
truth, though.
you?"
Well,
it is the
okay.
smallest thing you can do to really mess with someone's head.
I was listening to a podcast. David Chang has a podcast.
Sure.
Um,
Hmm.
and do you know who he is?
Oh.
He's a
Okay.
famous chef.
Ah.
Yeah.
Was he the one in that dumplings video we watched?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I made John watch the dumplings part.
After I came back from China, I went like, I need bao.
Yes.
And you can't
Yes.
find it anywhere unless you want to drive for a
It's
while.
Okay.
more of a
I
drive for me, and I have made that on many occasions with
I'm
you.
pretty sure that you could find. You gotta like start talking to the Chinese students and go like, "Hey, is there like a real Chinese place here?
Hey,
Can I?
John.
Where can I
I'm
buy chicken feet?"
I'm 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 out of college, and it's
And you could be,
glorious.
and you could be the old creepy guy. Here, you are post grad. Post grad. You're going for your PhD in chicken feet.
You know, there's someone who has done a culinary thesis on chicken feet. I
Okay.
want to eat that thesis.
A little bit of barbecue sauce, you'll be fine. You want
Actually,
it with
the
or without the staples?
uh,
So that
no,
was some kind of in joke I certainly did not get. And
No, there's no in
no,
joke there. Just imagine
that's an
eating staples.
industry joke about how they treat chickens, Mom.
Oh.
That is a joke about the horrible ways that they treat chickens.
Oh, I was just making a joke of imagining a staple tearing up your intestines.
Oh.
I don't know where you were going off of that.
I was going off of just the
They cut
washing
the
of
beef
chickens
off.
in bleach and that kind of stuff. And just thinking, yeah, I could definitely see some Chinese places that literally staple chickens to the floor so that they
Oh.
don't walk around too much.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
Yeah.
Do you remember the farm that I used to get chicken from and the
Yeah.
eggs
Yeah.
around this?
I'm pretty
Okay.
sure they actually sell at Fenley. I think
Oh,
they
they
might.
do?
Maybe.
That's great. Well, what was so funny was I was there one time and they had like this grocery cart. And you know how there's the little seat where the people, where little people sit, children? Yeah, those things. Anyway, what was
Those
so
aren't
funny
people.
is they had so they like the chickens are kept, basically most places cull male chicks and they just
Yeah.
kill them when they're a
Yep.
day old.
Yeah.
Because they're harder to manage and all these things. Well, this place doesn't. But what was so funny is I don't know how old these chickens were, but you know how like chickens when you freeze them, they like get like stiff as a board and they're like, so it's like legs out and then arms up, and it was just like these, and it was that whole basket part was full of male chickens stretched out like that, and they looked literally like she had a basket full of rubber chickens. It was and it was skinny and long, and and because the Chinese people come to buy them because they're so much more flavorful because they got to get out and move around, where these guys, they basically have them, in those. I mean, did you ever see a chicken when we went there?
I don't ever remember going there.
I don't think we ever went with you.
No, I think that was just you would come back from this magical fairyland with this delicious meat. And it's like,
Pretty much.
okay.
And that
Yeah.
bacon. Oh my goodness.
I know that you
Yeah.
volunteered there quite a bit, but we never went with you.
Okay.
That was
Okay.
probably the second best, like, meat I've ever had. First one, so I had a buddy in college whose family owned a farm. He
Oh.
brought hamburger meat with him while we were camping. So we just had like this skillet on the side of the fire, and we just put a burger in and cooked it. No buns, no ketchup, no toppings, no
Right.
onion, caramelized onion. Best burger I've ever eaten.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
It's a magical experience.
But it was.
Yeah.
That's when you realize that the way you raise the animal does make
It matters.
Yeah.
It really helps the flavor to have a well-raised animal. See the French and their treatment of foie gras.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was one of my favorite Anthony Bourdain episodes, the one where he went and he okay. Sorry. There's really not a point to this story, so I think we should move on.
Sometimes I hate that when you just start and you just like,
started and I went, this is stupid.
I've got nowhere to go.
This
It was pretty. The geese were happy, and then they died and gave their livers to us. I mean,
I'm pretty sure they gave more than their liver.
well, but not for the foie gras.
You know, I wonder if you could make like Peking duck out of them.
Probably.
Well, it'd be Peking geese, but whatever. Just shut up.
Peking food.
I was just wondering if you cook them in the same way after you remove the liver for the foie gras, will that taste good?
Oh yeah.
Probably.
There
I
you go.
mean, if that's what you like.
I
I've
mean, I
never
do
been
like it.
a big fan.
Oh, it's so good though.
But have you been over to China and had some
Okay.
Peking duck?
No, I have not.
And there we
No, I have
go.
not. Because Tiananmen Square, the event happened when we were going. So, no.
Yeah, causes issues.
It is so just
Yeah.
yeah.
What are
Yeah,
these
yeah.
politics getting in the way of my vacations?
Well, yes.
Actually,
Literally.
funny story. James had an experience of that relatively recently, as he was going to France, and they were having all kinds of labor disputes.
Oh,
Really?
Yes.
France? Labor
not
disputes?
the French.
Never. They never riot about it. They've never had any kind of protest.
Nah,
They're
there's
calm,
never been
peaceful
mass
people.
executions. What is that?
I heard they brought back the guillotine. What is that? A kind of dish?
I'm assuming those Frenchies enjoy some really obscure meats.
It's probably some like flavorless bland cheese.
That's the only thing that they can get really invested in. Something with culture.
That was good.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so funny. You know, it was there was one of okay. I'm in a TED Talk kick. Sorry, I apologize to you all, but
No. Let us be more clear. You're in a TEDx talk kick.
Let us be even more clear. Mom has never left her TED Talk kick.
TEDx.
hey,
TEDx.
I
That
will go
is
to
very
any
important.
place.
I'm just saying
So,
I
because
will click
TEDx.
off of them though when they're clearly, you know. But this one was great. Was they were talking about strikes and about oh no, it was the book Unprocessed. That was it. Okay, that was a great book. So
so.
maybe it's I don't know. I don't do research apparently. I got this from somewhere. They
Great
were talking about
tagline.
like what is the biggest, you know, like if you want to change the world, right?
Sure.
No.
She was talking about changing the banking system because the local bank was going to charge $5 a transaction to use the ATM if you had less than $1,000 on account. So literally,
Oh,
all they
poor
were doing,
tax.
yes, it
Man,
was
that's
a
what
poor tax.
overdraft fees are.
Anyway, and there was protests,
Yeah.
and they quietly withdrew it. But she was talking about the organization and that kind of thing, and they like garbage collector strike only lasts like 2 days. I mean, those are people
Oh,
who,
yeah.
if they don't do their job, it makes everybody miserable. And
Oh, yeah.
then I can't remember the teacher strikes also work not as well, but the one strike that didn't work was a banker strike. Nothing changed. No one noticed. It
I
was fine.
mean,
We all just went along.
Yep.
well, that's because everyone uses digital currency now. Or when was that
Well,
strike?
it was before that, but I
Gotcha.
mean, it's like you know, garbage collectors are powerful.
You know, that is one thing that, like, as I've grown older, I keep hearing people talk about, like, oh, when I was growing up, they told me never become a garbage man, or if I didn't study in school, you'll become a garbage man. I never once heard that, because
Mm-hmm.
Oh
garbage
no,
men
no!
get paid more than the teachers telling them that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have always said that a trade is a smart thing if that's what you want to do. But
You
then you're
didn't.
only getting paid when you work. And so if your body gives out, if you have a bad back, you don't
Yeah.
get paid, you know, or whatever. Uh, and so, you
Glad I'm
know,
not in a
that's the
trade. My
downside.
body's giving out given this podcast.
Yeah, but that's your own damn fault. No sympathies.
No,
Too much
I
fried
really.
food.
Oh, yeah. So that was another like partial topic that I had. So there's a casino like right next to me, and on Monday and Friday they have $7.77 uh, buffet.
Shit.
So of course what they do is they take out like everything that costs money
Yeah.
and put everything else in and deep fry it. I'm pretty sure they deep fried the salad, which, by the way, was absolutely immaculate. No one had touched the thing in, I think, the entire day.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So
Was
I
it
discovered that
delightful?
deep fried cauliflower is really good.
Yeah.
Popcorn
Yeah,
shrimp. It's like deep fried
popcorn shrimp.
cauliflower,
I love that
popcorn
stuff.
shrimp, spring rolls.
Did
Like,
they
oh,
have funnel cakes?
I don't think so.
Ah.
Because I'm pretty sure for all of their desserts, they were all like those frozen things that they just kind
Yeah.
of like unbox and
Yeah.
plate up and stick it out there.
Which is the same thing with all the deep fried foods. You just take the box, rip the top open, and dump, 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 dump.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just funny. So I used to work at a summer camp. There's one time we were trying to find some of the counselors, and people were starting to get a little worried. They're like, "Where are these people?" I open the walk-in freezer, and they all like shuffle out guiltily, like trying to make sure that it's not being seen. They were all in the walk-in stealing cheesecake.
I could totally see that happening at that camp. Oh, those.
Oh, that's funny.
That was a great camp, and it's really sad because I wanted to keep working there, but I did not want to be a counselor. I wanted to be an e-teamer the entire time. If I could have just run the events,
You wanted
and
to be the most useless one.
yes,
The counselors could easily have done what the E-teamers did.
yes,
That
but
year that you were a counselor, you were not happy.
it was the issue is that I was too willing to say yes, I will do that job. And so I was put on Lakeview, so I was working for the
Oh,
toddlers, and that sucked. And then my final week as a counselor, I was working for the Boston inner city kids. And I'm a small white boy that is very laid back, and so my first interaction with them, they were like, "What do we call you?" I don't care. Call me anything. And immediately, the woman who was actually running the scene said, "No, they are calling you Daniel." Okay, they are calling me Daniel.
you see,
Right.
So I was not a good fit for anything that they had me do.
There are footprints all over your back.
you see, I would have immediately said, "Call me Big D."
Well, I tell you the story about.
You get like a little bit, maybe a little bit of respect.
Yeah. Well, when okay, so my brother is 5'5", I think, maybe 5'6". He's
Something like that.
not a tall man, and he went to work at Cardinal Spellman in New York City, and it was a school that was still run by the brothers, and what they would do is they had first year college graduates come out and see if they wanted to teach, and so they would provide food and a place for them to live, and a small stipend. I mean, like, not New York City money, like little. And and one of their jobs was to stand in the hallways and make sure nothing went wrong.
Yeah.
Well, he walks in, and he told the kids that his name was Jerome, because that is a name that gets respect.
Yes.
In the inner city. And he also, when he was in charge of a hallway, he wouldn't say, "Don't do that." He said, "Not in my hall." So all he did was make them move location. He was so smart. I was like, oh, that was brilliant. I went, brilliant. Oh my goodness. And that's how you get the respect as a small white man. I wouldn't know how you get it as a small white woman. I haven't been there yet. When I find it, I'll let you know.
Be the substitute that teaches people how to sew as opposed to doing the lesson plans.
Well, oh my God, I'm so excited. Oh my God. I have games picked out for the end of class. I have more games. I have something that John gave me back, that was a Christmas present that wasn't so good.
I'm just like, I have nothing but carpet around here.
And
I don't want to fuck up anything.
Right.
I know you will enjoy this, and I'd love to play with it with you. Not at my place.
Right. Yeah, so it's funny because I've been making up all the materials to do the lesson plans. And I'll do it. But I've also got stacks of games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
this one is the tacos correspondence school of witchcraft and wizardry.
Is that from Mabim? Not Mabimbam, but the
yes.
Adventure Zone.
It's from the Adventure Zone. Absolutely. Because what was so funny? This is hilarious. The first thing I opened up and I'm like studying Chinese with John, so I'm all into this really difficult, complex language.
Yeah.
And so they give you this thing, and it's about doing translation of Elvish and Knoll.
Okay.
And they give you a letter to do it, right? They give you these two little letters. And what was so funny is I, in my mind, kept trying to make these things into like characters, like Chinese characters. It's a simple one-to-one substitution cipher. I mean, it's the stupidest, easiest thing ever. And I tried to make it so hard. Oh, it was so funny.
You are not a cryptographer.
No.
I actually wrote a program that solved substitution ciphers.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Oh, I like that.
It only really worked for English because it used the it's like the Kaczynski index of coincidence. So basically, you take all the letters and you find out their like approximately how many times that the letter's been said, and you apply that to the index of coincidence, and you find out what letter it is. Then you take those words and plug them into a dictionary to see how right you are.
How well did it work?
So I had a couple test cases, and it worked 100%.
Nice. I passed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I figured it out, I did one line of it, and I went, "Oh, that's boring." So
Google the translation.
I make things harder because I find them more interesting.
So,
every time I take a class, they always say, "Oh no, you're working too hard." I'm like, "No, it's more interesting." It's not.
What you want it to be is that it converts into a hex code that needs to be converted into binary that goes through the ASCII table, and then it's a one-to-one substitution.
Binary is hex. It's just more complex.
If they're only showing you 1 through 9, A through F, that's hex, not binary.
That directly translates to binary.
Yes, it does directly translate.
There's no,
but Mom is looking for steps.
F.
Not
one,
steps.
1, 1, 1.
So, okay.
Extra binaries.
What?
It's basically a substitution cipher. It's really easy.
It is, but at the same time, people feel very intelligent for figuring that kind of stuff out because it is niche knowledge. That is not something Mom would have understood immediately, and it would have required research. The research required to figure out that this 1 through 9, A through F means that it is a hex code, and figuring out that, oh, it gives me this weird binary string, I don't know how to do anything with this, figuring out that she needs to take that and put it into the ASCII table, and seeing that it gives her gobbledygook, and then realizing it's a one-to-one letter-to-letter transmission. That sequence of events, for Mom, who does not have the basis of computer understanding that we have, would have been interesting.
Right.
So, first of all, you just leave it as hex, and you look up the ASCII table in hex. Second of all, just because you finding out the steps is the interesting part, actually solving it, not so much. So she would have looked at that, figured it out, gotten excited, did a couple letters, and went like, "Wow, this is really boring to keep doing." That.
Literally. That is so funny. But to make up all the materials for this math, when you teach math Montessori style, you're moving things around, and so you get to see the size of numbers. I don't know if you remember any of this, John.
No.
From Montessori.
I remember in first grade we had the little cubes. So you'd have the 1 cube, then they'd go into a line of 10 cubes, and you'd have the square of 50 cubes, I think. No.
Probably 100.
It's probably 100, and then you had the cube of 1,000 then, I think.
Right. Yeah. So like that is work worth doing because it's going to get me a payoff that will make the class fun to teach and they'll actually learn something.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right about the whole, what's the payoff? Just finding out the answer, that's no payoff. Like, who cares? Finding out the process and learning everything that's inside of it, that's amazing. That's funny. I never thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm smart.
Oh, yeah.
I am so smart. SMRT.
Sounds about right.
Original content. Do not steal. I got that from a Simpsons game. The voice actor who's playing Homer,
Mm-hmm.
he flubbed his voice line because it was supposed to be "I'm so smart," SMART, and then he just totally flubbed it and said "I'm smart," SMRT.
And it's so much better
And
that
there's
way.
just like, oh my god,
That
this
is
is
so
amazing.
perfect.
I wish I had said that.
Exactly. They wish that they had written it that way.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many things I wish I had written where you read it and you go, oh,
That's so perfect.
awesome.
I put your symptoms into a Google search, and it says that you have internet connectivity problems. Best improv I've ever heard.
There's a reason why he is so popular these days, and I forget his name, Chris something or another. Gosh darn it. He's the Guardians of the Galaxy guy. He's also the Lego guy.
Peter Quill.
Yes.
Yeah, no, just his name is Peter Quill now.
Cool. Mom, you would know him as Emmett. From the Lego movie. The main character from the Lego movie.
Oh, I thought he was adorable.
Exactly.
I love that movie.
That's the guy who came up with the internet connectivity line.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the Lego movie had the greatest advertising scheme I've ever seen. When they're coming out with the Lego Movie 2, they're like, hey, everyone on YouTube, here's Lego Movie 1 for free. And son of a bitch, if I didn't watch the Lego Movie that day. And I never watched movies.
Yeah, it was a great marketing scheme.
Yeah.
Yes. And I want to see
be fair,
movie
it only worked because it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Well, that was what was really funny was John and I watched a couple weeks ago. We watched what's the dragon one? How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah. Oh yeah, How to Train
Your Dragon. We were like, we're gonna have a marathon, so we rented How to Train Your Dragon 2. Oh, went from a fun.
We did 1 and 2. Number 1 is kind of like the childlike fun.
Mm-hmm.
And number 2 is kind of like every single teenage
adolescent angst.
Angsty, stupid.
And then How to Train Your Dragon 3 is apparently an adult not like an adult comedy, but here are adult characters in a comedy, from the best that I can tell. So it is supposed to be his evolution through life. So yes,
it's going to be a
he was an angsty teenager.
Yeah, where How to Train Your Dragon 1, we couldn't stop giggling. I mean, it was just so much fun. So much fun.
Just like,
and then the
it's
second
so
was
saccharine.
Preach. Let me show you how when I'm so in tune with the dragons, I can walk along the wings and
All right. Watch that mother character. Like
Aragon, get out of my dragon movie.
Well, and honestly,
if you took her out, if you took her out, literally nothing about the movie would have changed.
Nice.
No, really, think about it. If they had just walked into the dragon sanctuary and there's just dragons there, it would have been the same.
They were
useless.
Oh my goodness. It is so funny when you actually think about the movie while you're watching it, as opposed to like just take it in.
I do my best to not think. I do my absolute best to not think about media while I'm watching it. And
I need to have something to distract me so I can't think. And when they're getting all preachy about something absolutely retarded, it's like, okay, I've been brought out of the movie, brought back to my senses, and my senses say you're dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was funny. I just rewatched while I was cutting out all the materials. I was rewatched Lord of the Rings, and I love John Rhys Davies. I just love him
Who was
so
he?
much.
Gimli.
Gimli. Gotcha.
And I never really thought about what a shaft job he got in that movie, because he went from part of the team to the comic relief. If you watch them in a row, it was like, oh,
I see,
he was funny,
but he
and
was
I
so.
enjoyed it, but
He's still one of the best parts of the movie, so let me toss this one out there. Remember when I was Milky White for my 7th grade play?
he was
And
the best part of the whole thing.
as the
But when he
comedy
got the
relief,
part, he was not happy about it.
not at all. I nearly cried on the way home because I was like, oh, is this what my drama teacher thinks of me? And then I took that
I'm a
part
fucking
and
cow.
ran with it. And
Right.
so you can definitely have the comic relief character that is the best part of a good thing and just have that be a positive.
Okay, I
I
like
think
that.
Gimli falls into that.
Okay, now I've got another one then I need you to spin for me, because this is the other thing that I noticed by watching them all in a row.
Okay.
Orlando Bloom,
Yes.
who let's not go back to the original Legolas in the book. We're not going there. It's its own thing. It's a movie.
Yes.
And he looked right.
Mm-hmm.
But he is not nearly as good an actor as like almost anybody else on the screen.
No! Have you watched Pirates of the Caribbean?
What you should
He's
do
there
with
for his
Orlando Bloom,
face.
what you should do while watching Lord of the Rings is just watch his face in the background of every scene, because he knew that he wasn't important to the story, so he just made faces at the camera the entire time.
Seriously?
Yes.
Oh, I do need to watch that.
Okay. I need to rewatch him.
He's just not as, like, I mean, the guy who, okay, I didn't like what they did to, I didn't like the end that Saruman comes to, but
Stabbed in the back and thrown off Orcarest?
well, because in the book he was stabbed
right.
in the back by Wormtongue, but it made sense where I thought in this movie
It was just kind of rushed.
Well, that's why it wasn't in the movie.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that was a deleted scene.
That's in the extended edition.
Yeah.
It just goes away.
And I love the fact that crap. What's his name who plays Saruman?
That's what I was trying to come up with. He's so
Ian
good.
McClellan.
No, that's Gandalf.
That's Gandalf?
Yes.
I think. What's his name? Oh, this is killing me.
He and Ian McClellan are like best friends, and they're always hanging out together, and it's fantastic. I can't remember if either one of them has died, so that might be a little bit morbid.
He actually met Tolkien. He was the only member of the cast who actually met Tolkien.
Oh yeah. No, well, and Tolkien said that he could play Gandalf in the movie, so he's a little salty about that. Christopher Lee.
Oh, so Chris was right. Oh, I got a
So one of my favorite stories about Lord of the Rings is that when the stabbing scene happened, Christopher Lee is explaining to the director, here's what it sounds like when a person gets stabbed.
Because he had been.
Or he had done it.
Oh.
Yeah, he's
so,
this is what it sounds like.
The director was trying to get him to scream out in pain and have this big dramatic death scene, and
no,
Christopher Lee says, no, when you stab someone or you get stabbed, the air just escapes from your lung, you gape and gasp, and you can't do anything for a few seconds.
Wow. Oh, that's really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Christopher Lee's great. You know he had a heavy metal band?
Yes.
No,
Christopher Lee is amazing.
He's a heavy metal singer too.
He is great. Yeah. That was one thing that was such a shock going through the movies again and realizing just how great so much of the acting was. And I also had more sympathy for Frodo this time, because his character is so one note, it just goes.
I would say it more goes.
Well, and he falls down a lot. But If you've never read the book, you wouldn't know the effect of the ring. And what they keep overemphasizing is the way the ring changes everyone around them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do get, it wasn't written for me, this movie. This movie was written for people who had not.
This movie was written for me as someone who started the books and couldn't get through them.
Because they are dense and wordy and old-fashioned. And
I think I got part of the way through book 3.
I got halfway through book 2 and said,
Well, I also skipped
I like
Council
fantasy. This is not my kind of fantasy.
Well, yeah. See, there wasn't all that stuff that you've read now when I was young.
Yeah, he was the first. Archive. And it's fantastic. Although I find it hilarious just how difficult it is for people to move away from Tolkien fantasy. And that's why I love playing indie games, because every so often you get a legitimately fantastic world. As in, it is its own fantasy. It's pulling from some other kind of mythology that Lord of the Rings wasn't pulling from, but at least it's not pulling from Lord of the Rings.
That's excellent. I never thought, because it is so Western, European, and
I mean, just look at D&D. We have spent so long killing the same baddies.
Right.
And the goblins attack, and they're led by an ogre. Or maybe it's a hobgoblin this time, just to throw a twist.
That's why I like the game that we backed on Kickstarter.
Schlock Mercenary.
Their game, yes, it's totally. I mean, he's got people with hands coming out of the top of their heads. He's got, they're just like truly alien.
Yes, I appreciate how creative. Shoot, I forget his name. Howard Taylor. How creative Howard Taylor is in character designs, even if his. It's really weird because his stories are written to be released as daily comic strips, but at the same time, these are long, overarching stories that take like 9 months to complete an actual arc. And so...
That's short? Sorry, I read Wittershins.
They get released daily. There's the difference.
Yeah, he releases a lot more.
And so the fact that you just forget what's happening in the middle of it. It's a hard comic to read daily, even though it's written to be read daily.
I read it in blocks of a couple months, always. And I'll sometimes I go back and I start from the beginning again because I'm me, Yeah. I'm a little completist.
Same here.
You have...
You are.
I think that I am the least completionist person here. I really do tend to pick something up and then drop it as soon as I don't care about it. There is not nearly the same compulsion for me to complete something that you guys have.
So, like the Wax and Wayne trilogy, I guess it's a trilogy still right now.
It is a trilogy.
Even though it's going to be a quadrilogy.
No, he's moving to a new timeline.
No, he's not. Wax and Wayne, the very first one, in that, isn't part of the trilogy.
Really?
Yes. There's still one more book. That's why there's been like all this mystery and intrigue that they
Hold on. Yeah. Can I identify this for anyone who's listening who is not a Brandon Sanderson fan? That Brandon Sanderson set the world of the Mistborn in the future. So it's the middle trilogy of it's like 200 years after Mistborn happens.
And so I thought I read a blog post by him that it was going to be 3 trilogies and the next one was going to be set like 1,000 years in the future.
Yeah, so that I'm pretty sure the original Wax and Wayne book was written as a distraction for him because he was having trouble with a different book. So it's actually going to be 4.
I think so.
Yeah,
Hey,
Homecoming.
everybody needs a 4-part trilogy.
Well, yeah, because they haven't taken out the main bad guy. Like, they've hinted at all of this stuff, or just outright said it, and then
And I was perfectly
haven't
fine
touched
with
it.
him saying, no, it's going to be 3 books. You guys don't get a completion to this storyline. You guys found out about the start of all the magic-y stuff, and now we're going to skip forward so that you can see the eventualization of the magic technology.
You know that's not how he works. I'm pretty sure he can only get off if he creates an avalanche of plot points at the end of a book.
I felt like he did, and I was very
No.
happy with the Bands of Mornings ending.
Oh yeah, that was a
It was
sentence in
good.
Avalanche for that book.
Right. Now
But
I
it
want
was
to
not the 500-page climax that is A Memory of Light.
at Oathbringer. I mean, that was I loved the ending.
It's kind of fun. The first time I read Oathbringer, I was just like, that's all right. But then I reread it, and it's like, okay, I'm a lot more accepting of it now. It definitely kind of has that middle child syndrome where, like,
It has to set up so much
nothing.
stuff and it can't pay off enough to really validate its existence despite it being over 1,000 pages.
Like, in terms of the world conflict, nothing really got accomplished. They just had their first battle.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we're running up on time.
Yeah. We
So I
have
was
been
thinking we should
recording
end
for
it
about
before
an
Mom
hour.
comes back. Damn it.
She didn't actually leave the room.
No, I had to move stuff so Joy could sit on the chair over there.
So,
yes.
Any last things that you guys want to bring up?
Subscribe.
Like, subscribe.
I was trying
Donate
to
on Patreon. PayPal me $100.
You know, we could actually set up a Patreon for this one. I hope y'all enjoyed us being facetiously familial. We'll be back same time, same place next week, assuming that I'm not a lazy bastard. Have a nice one, y'all.